Strategic planning. This is a very interesting use case for SharpCloud. Many of us have facilitated workshops where you got the whiteboard and you got sticky notes, and that's a good way to get people thinking and flowing and moving stuff around. Well, one of the things you can do with SharpCloud is you can actually use it for that type of whiteboarding exercise as well. So what I did here, for example, on the front, if you can imagine, you're facilitating a workshop, you could have the vision statement, what it is you're trying to achieve in that particular workshop on the front page, so that people are aware, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve. And then now what you can do is have multiple different I'll say categories for your workshop. So in this case here, I wanted to get information about the PMCOE, and I wanted to get pull information about project controls and human resources. So in each of these areas, like a menu, I can click on, and it'll bring up a view with an embedded form that now, again, users can either directly in the SharpCloud story enter the information, their particular idea, if you will, or whatever I'm collecting within the information for that workshop. They can enter it within this form and hit submit. Or again, because it is a form, you can now distribute prior to the workshop this URL that's at the top of the form. And now people, even remotely, if they don't even have access to SharpCloud, they can now on their tablet or their mobile device, they can now pull up this form, complete it, and submit it, and their idea or what their input is will appear on the front of the room, on the screen at the front of the room. So if you can imagine, if you have a room of, say, 10 people that are participating in a workshop, each of them contributing their ideas using these forms, the ideas just start popping up on the front of the screen. And now what you can do as a facilitator for that particular session is you can open up the idea, the room can discuss it, you can determine whether or not it's something that it's actually in the right place. Well, that's not really, so we'll say this one here, the feedback system, it's not really a process. So what I want to do is move it up into the tool category. So it gives you the ability, like a sticky note, to move it around. You can actually open it up and you can edit the information within it, the same as you would within a workshop, but now it's all done digitally. And then you can move to, for example, project controls, which is the same thing, and human resources, which is the same thing. And then once you're done with the input process, I created the analysis menu here. And in the analysis menu, this is where you would basically, typically in a workshop, we'd run the sessions in the morning, go for lunch, and then do a whole bunch of number crunching or overnight. And then the following day, we'd come back with some results, or the following week, whatever it may be. But if you structure this properly using the tool, all the information that was input is automatically being categorized within the analysis views. So in this case here, for example, I'm identifying risk and benefit. So using a heat map, I can easily, from the ratings that were put into those and discussions during the workshop, instantly you've got a good idea as to which ideas probably make the most sense versus the ones you want to stay away from because they're low benefit and high risk. So you can manipulate this view any way you want to for your stakeholders, but basically that's the way I set it up. And one of the things you can do with SharpCloud as well is you can, we've set it up so that when people are reviewing the ideas, they can actually vote on them using the like and dislike functions at the top of the screen when you open up an item. And this view basically tabulates the likes and dislikes, which gives you an idea from, whether it be an investment perspective or which projects you're going to give a higher priority. Based on demand and what people say about it. So you can use the voting process within SharpCloud as a bit of a gamification process to rank your ideas as well. And if you notice, during a workshop, and if I come back here to one of these here, during a workshop, often what happens is people sort of lose their way because you get into a lot of discussion. So what I did is I include a button at the top here where it basically says, you can go back to the vision statement. This is what we're trying to achieve. And then from there, you can go back into the particular area that you're trying to work through. So on your screens, I find it's very important to make it easily navigatable to go back and forth like you would logically during that particular session. So in the case of a whiteboarding session, you want to be able to easily access the analysis views. You also want to be able to get back to the vision statement, to get back to the main menu. So you always want to try to make it 1 or 2 clicks to get back to wherever you might want to go during the session. So when you're doing your story design, you might want to think, okay, if I was in an actual workshop and you're creating something like this, what is the process, what is the flow that it's going to go through, and design your story accordingly so that you can follow that process during the workshop.